The sign needs to be there, where it's like right there and they kind of pass it and see it, versus across the way, because if it's across the way, they're looking at the light, they're looking at their phone, and they're looking left and right to see if they can go. Right. They're not trying to focus 70 feet across the way to then see an open house sign.
The Rob Jensen Company specializes in guard-gated luxury homes in Summerlin, Las Vegas, and Henderson. Rob Jensen has served as an expert guest commentator for numerous national broadcast networks and media outlets. Let's see what's happening today with Rob and the team. It's the Rob Jensen Show.
Today, Mark and I went out to work on our maps for our open house signs. See, one of the popular questions I get from sellers looking to sell is, are open houses a good idea? And generally I say yes. You know, there's a lot of value that can come from an open house done right. And that starts with proper marketing. And one of the big things that drive traffic to an open house is signage. Rob Jensen Company likes to put out 15 to 20 signs per open house, and these signs have got to be put in the right spots. We want people to turn to the right. Now, people in the right lane might already be turning right. So it's okay to give them some signage, but let's give people in the middle that might be coming this way some signage as well. The other thing is, when the sign's this far back, as people come up to a red light, multiple people see it as they slow down. If it's right up there on the corner, the first person's going to hit the red light and stop. No one else is going to see it. Normally I don't go too crazy in intersections, but hey, this is Charleston, obviously great visibility. People are sitting in their car looking, which means the second you start getting closer to that bush, the more tighter it cuts the angle and when people can see the sign. Open house that away. I think this spot right here is probably best. When you're coming out of these roundabouts are intense, and the second you kind of come out of it, you're kind of like making sure you're cool. You're not exactly in sightseeing mode, and especially since that stuff's sort of overgrown a little bit, I would just do one like right here. And so that's what I'm up to today with Mark. We're out figuring out the best places to put the signs and building these maps so that we can always put the signs in the right spot in the future. It's going to be a great night. We're at Kona Grill. We've got the whole upstairs booked for our incredible clients to enjoy the Game 4 watch party for the one and only Vegas-born Golden Knights. It's going to be an exciting game. Go Knights.
You know, we're all sort of trying to create transactions, and we want to establish what's a fair price or something. You know, if somebody's really given it a lot of thought and says, you know, here's why I think this is worth what I'm offering, that's a very helpful bit of information, as opposed to just somebody who is, you know, running around New York City just throwing lowball offers that are 25% below the asking price at everything because they just think eventually somebody will take one.
Yeah, and I think that advice can go for both sides of the tables, whether you're on the buyer side or the seller, whether it's an offer or a counter offer, you know, to submit reasoning, because there might be particular comps or some data or something that the other side doesn't know. I mean, when I'm representing sellers, you know, sometimes I can maybe even learn something from the buyer's agent because they've gone out and they've looked at all 30 homes that are potentially our competition. And so they might even have a little better nuance as to where we are. Now, of course, I still represent the seller, and I'm going to not just take their word for it, but if they can give me something to chew on, so to speak, it can help everyone.
So So we're here in the office in the conference room, and we have laid out every single Rob's Report publication that we've produced for the past 3 years. There have been a lot of changes that we've made from the beginning to where we are today, and I'm excited to invite you to the behind the scenes look of how we put this all together. So I just started working on the production of our newsletter. We're using Adobe InDesign to get this going. Currently waiting on Georgia right now to send over our market trends and our sales reports. So that data is going to go in, but right now I'm going to get going on working on the properties, getting all the photos plugged in, the copy. Right now I'm going to start to choose the photos for the properties. We have 3 new listings that we're loading up in here. For our cover image, for the cover property, we're featuring Evergreen Creek Lane. So Eric took 46 photos of the home. So there's this one that has the kitchen, and you can also see out through the glass doors leading out to the back, which is nice. There's also another one. It's really this nice sloping backyard that goes down, and you kind of lose yourself in the green of it all. But it's nice because you don't really feel that you're surrounded by anyone or anything for that matter, other than the mountains, which is great. And then select this guy for here. And here. You're really getting so much more than just a house. You're getting the view, the golf course, the mountains, everything that this home has to offer. It's this beautiful single story, and the views are spectacular. So that's what we really want to push and sell people on, specifically for this home, are the views. All right, so now we're going to take a look and pick up a few photos for Laramont. And Laramont is a lot that we have for sale in McDonald Highlands. And we want to really showcase what this lot has to offer. With lots, it's always important to show the size of the lot, how big it is, and just what else is in relation, what you're getting from that lot. Initially, this is something that we used to have a graphic designer do. We would send her all of the assets every month. 24 hours, she'd return us back a rough draft. We would send her changes. 24 hours later, she sent us another draft. We might find a few more things that we want to change, we might not. But more often than not, we'd go through a few different iterations, and about a week later, we'd actually have a final draft, which we'd then send to the press. We do all of this in-house now, which is awesome because I can go make the changes on the fly, get this thing put together. If we see something, a mistake that needs to be corrected, we're not reliant on anyone. We don't have to wait on their timetable for them to get in front of their computer or anything else. We can go make the change and get things sent out to the printer quickly, efficiently, and on time.
The publisher letter is a fun piece of content I get to work on every month for the Rob's Report. I see it as a fun opportunity to reach out and talk to our readers and just share something that's on my mind, whether it be developments and trends in the market, the latest and greatest in the marketing that our company is doing. And this month, I share a little bit about sharpening the proverbial axe. I like to learn, I like to teach the team members, and just ultimately just make the company better, which gives our clients a better experience and better results and keeps us on the cutting edge. So this month we've got a real estate seminar booked with Robert Campbell about market trends and market timing. Got one up in Portland with 1,000 Watt, really sharp creative agency. Gonna learn a lot from those guys, and possibly even one about negotiating. I do a lot of negotiating. That's one of the reasons we want to hire me, of course. So otherwise, keep your eye out in the mailbox. The Rob's Report usually hits around a little after mid-month, and until next time, enjoy.
The majority of the marketing that we do is all digital. And what makes the Rob's Report really special is the fact that this is one of the few items that we physically print out and mail. Not only does it feature our latest luxury listings, but also contains the most important market trends and data for the guard-gated communities that we serve. I just got done sending this issue of the Rob's Report off to the printer, and gonna go grab some coffee now to kickstart the rest of the day.
I'm headed over to Henderson this morning with Adrian. We've got 2 properties to look at, one in McDonald Highlands and one in Anthem Country Club. And the sellers have reached out to us about selling these properties. They're both occupied by tenants, and it's common that sellers would like to keep a tenant in their property while we sell it for them. That way there's you know, no break in that cash flow. They can continue to get their rental income. And I understand, and sometimes sellers even have to keep that tenant in there. You know, they've got a big mortgage payment and they really need the extra help with that tenant making that payment. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a look at these properties and see the condition. You know, the other day I had a client, we did something similar for a client in Red Rock, and we walked in and the property is a beautiful property, but it was just stuffed full of clutter. You know, it's, you know, and it's okay, the house was still in good shape, but the tenant lived there and it just was overflowing with junk. You know, it actually kind of smelled like smoke inside, and there was a big sort of crate where, you know, for some animals that was just kind of stinking up the kitchen. So I told the client, like, we're not gonna do this. This is ridiculous, because they wanted top dollar. Now, if they just kind of wanted a fair price because they needed to get it sold and move on, then we could have still helped them sell it. But if we were gonna put it on the market and really press for top dollar, then, you know, those things, the tenant needed to be out of there. So we don't know, we don't have any idea what we're gonna be coming into today. These homes might show really well and still be nicely decorated. You know, they might still, you know, smell fresh and look good, or they could be a total like pigsty. So we're gonna find out, and I'm gonna get back to the sellers and let them know, hey, look, we need to get these tenants out before you sell the place, or, you know, we can go ahead and start marketing it now. All right, we just wrapped up touring both the properties in Henderson, and the first one looks amazing. It looks like a model home. I believe it's the owner's furniture in there. I need to double check. And it just looks great. It's clean, it's not cluttered, and definitely showable while the tenant's living there. Now, we still gotta make sure the tenant's willing to be flexible and cooperate with showings. That's a different piece of the puzzle. But as far as the condition, that home is ready to go. The other home we looked at in Anthem Country Club is a different story. It's still a great property and a nice view, great views of the mountains, nice view of the city. However, it's a little full. The tenants are in there right now, and they've got a dog and a cat and a kitty litter box and a lot of fake plants, and they live there, and that's fine. It's just something that it would just show bigger and feel more open if they would move out. You know, in this case, I'm going to recommend that, you know, that the tenants move out and the owner do a fresh coat of paint. The wall color's a little odd, and maybe change a couple of light fixtures. Some of the light fixtures are still the original from when it was built 15 years ago, you know, with the brass and the glass little pane things in them. You know, all we got to do is a fresh coat of paint, a couple new more modern looking light fixtures, and that thing is going to feel like $1 million. So and it's going to smell fresh and clean. You know, fresh coat of paint always makes it smell like a new house. So that's it. It was a good little mission this morning, and we're going to report back to these homeowners and let them know what to do next. Question of the show: what do you think of open houses? I look forward to reading your answers. All you got to do is comment below, whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube. And thanks again for watching.
Thank you for watching The Rob Jensen Show.